everybody, it's Anne the Purple Goddess. I'm here with my purple gloves and magic wand. Wishing you a happy Tuesday. It's always good to have this little time with you to reflect on a tarot card. And as you know, I really like to work with the ancient system of the tarot, which is about symbolic language, pictures and symbols on cards that help reflect back to us where we might be right now in our life. So we've got a really good card today, but before I pull the card, I want to just share a little story about reading the Globe and Mail this Saturday. And there was an interview with Robbie Robertson, who's a Canadian musician and member of the famous group, The Band. And they were just interviewing him. I guess he's releasing some new music. And he said that when early days in his career, he suffered from anxiety on stage fright. And so the band hired somebody who was a hypnotist. And the hypnotist would be at the side of the stage and said to Robbie Robertson and other band members, I suppose, but mostly Robbie Robertson, who was really shy, when you're feeling like you're losing energy and you're not going to make it through your performance, look at me and I'm going to say the word to you, grow. And Robbie Robertson said, sure enough, every time that he would be beginning to lose energy and that he wasn't going to get through the performance, he would look to the hypnotist and the hypnotist would say, grow. And he said it brought energy back and he was able to complete the performance. And he said since that time, which was many years ago, he says the word to himself at least once a week, grow. I thought, isn't this interesting? Such a simple kind of teaching about, when we need to change, we have to be willing to grow and lean into energy that might be fearful for us because things are going to be just fine. Now, speaking of the word grow, I want to show for the last time my amaryllis bulb because it's at the end of its blooming cycle, I think. And this is an example of growth. When my neighbor at Christmas time gave me this ugly bulb and some soil and said, plant this here, water it, and it's going to turn out to be, she said, something that looks like this. I thought, no, I don't know. So I did. So you ready? This is really heavy, but I want to show it while I can. So this is 4 spectacular blooms. And I think you've seen me kind of show it from time to time. And it had 8 blooms all together. And 4 have died, and as each one died, a new one came. And I thought, what an amazing metaphor for our life, right? That when something dies, something beautiful can grow. So let's get to our card because we want to continue this theme of growing. Here we go. Now this card is from the Minor Arcana, which is divided into the suits. And the suits are cups, pentacles, swords, and wands. This is in the suit of cups, and we're entering the season of Pisces. And Pisces is the fish, right? So we've got the King of Cups. It's a beautiful card. Now, before we unpack the King of Cups, I want to show you the difference between the King and the Queen of Cups. So cups are water signs. So for those of us who are water signs, that's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So it's always interesting to me that I picked the King of Cups in Pisces season. But anyway, so before we get to the King of Cups, let's have a look at the Queen. So this is the Cancer sign. But anyway, the Queen of Cups, she's holding one cup, but it's more like a chalice and it's closed. And so she's reflecting on herself, on her deep emotional life, but her cup's closed. She's waiting probably for the King of Cups. Because the King of Cups has 2 things in his hand. One is a cup and the other is what we would call like a scepter. And what's happening here? The King, first of all, is wearing primary colors: blue, yellow, red. And blue represents kind of the throat chakra. This is a king that's not afraid when the time is right to speak his truth. And he can speak his truth so easily just wearing a blue robe. And red is about passion, about the root chakra. He's also got red in his crown, which means, when he steps off this throne, which is floating on the sea. He's fairly grounded. And he's wearing yellow, sort of like the sun or the solar plexus. And he's on a great throne, literally floating on choppy waters. So where are you floating on choppy waters right now in your life? In terms of the world right now, we're all kind of in this situation with the pandemic, aren't we? We're in choppy waters where we don't know what's going on. You know, is the vaccine, are we going to get vaccinated? When are we going to get vaccinated? How do I cope with all the change that's happening in my life? Because it's the pandemic and we're not able to do some of the things that we're used to doing. So the King of Cups is like, it's okay. He's got a ship coming to him from one direction. He's not particularly worried about the ship crashing into him. He could be, but he's not. And the best part about this card is there's a little, they call little sea monster here coming towards him. And he's not afraid of that little sea monster. It's like, okay. So what it means is there's something coming out of the water that's not expected, that could be viewed as a sea monster. But he's just chilling out here on his throne and prepared to take a look at maybe what that sea monster is, because he's the cup of emotions. And this is a wonderful opportunity during the lockdown to learn about our emotional life. And you don't have to go far on the internet to have all these amazing teachers have popped up, because their regular business is kind of dried up, or they're reinventing themselves. And they're teaching about emotions, feelings. Oh my gosh. I watched a video recently where the woman was talking about attachment theories. And she said there are 3 kinds of attachments. One is the anxious, one is the avoidant, and one is the stable. And it was a fabulous, teaching. The people who are avoidant attachments tend to attract the anxious types, right? And vice versa. And the goal is to learn to become stable, like the King of Cups, be on our throne and deal with the unexpected, deal with these things that come up from our past that are an invitation to change. And that might be releasing, abandonment issues, for example. It might be releasing panic attacks like Robbie Robertson by learning to say the word grow. And it's being prepared to wear the unexpected, literally and metaphorically. So if you look on this card, the king is wearing a necklace that's a fish. Oh, it's kind of an odd thing, right? On the other hand, he's not afraid to experiment by putting something on that might seem odd, but, unexpected is part of growth and change. And the fish is also connected to Pisces. So all these layers and levels of this card aren't there. So there's also green in the water. And he's wearing green little slippers. And green represents growth. So this is a really beautiful card. It's about being, in your, being the master of your yearnings, your feelings, not letting the rocky seas, the sea monster, the ship that's coming in your direction scare you, although it's an invitation to learn to grow, and to learn to grow with grace and dignity, because you've got an open cup. You've got the cup. You're holding on to a cup of love. And when we're holding on to a cup of love, the invitation is to love ourselves. And when we're ready, we can offer a cup of love to somebody that's stable and trust that all will be well. And we're holding the scepter, right? Like the magic wand. I love the concept of the magic wand because, it reminds me that like one of the first cards in the tarot, we all have the magician qualities to change ourselves, to release things, past traumas, whatever. And we can grow to be all that we can be. We can wear a necklace that's purple. We can wear a sparkly top. We can do whatever we want. Change is good. Change is good. So it's been great to spend this time with you. I'm going to hit the Ting Sha bell once as you think about how the King of Cups can come to you and offer you stability, growth, and change. Blessed be everybody till we meet again.